Good morning, viewers. Today I am present before you with Edgar Allan Poe's poem The Raven. I will be talking about the summary, or you can say the paraphrase of this particular poem. Before I begin the podcast, it is advisable that you keep a notebook and a pen so that you can jot down the important points relating to this particular topic. It is further advisable to use earplugs for listening to the podcast. So here I begin. Once upon a very chilly and frightful midnight, I was reading, though weak and tired, some old and curious volumes of ancient magic. While I was thus reading drowsily, half asleep, I suddenly heard a sound of gentle tapping at my door, as if somebody was gently rapping to seek admission. I said to myself, it must be some wayfarer tapping at my door. It can't be anything more than this. I clearly remember it was a dreary December night, when every dying piece of glowing charcoal seemed to fall on the ground like a ghost. I was eagerly looking for the next morning to come, vainly trying by my books to suppress and overcome my grief for the loss of my sweet beloved Lenore. For my rare and beautiful maiden, whom the angels called Lenore, was dead, had become nameless here forever. And now the light, uncertain and melancholy, rustling of my silken curtains at the door, filled me with strange and mysterious fear that I had never felt before. Therefore, in order to control and pacify my agitated nerves, I kept repeating to myself, it must be some late visitor, some wayfarer seeking entrance into my chamber for the night. It can't be anything more than this. Presently, my spirit and nerves grew composed. Overcoming all my initial hesitation and opening the door, I kept saying, Sir or Madam, I sincerely seek your forgiveness. The fact is, I was lying half asleep, and your tapping at the door was so gentle, so faint, that I was not sure whether there was really somebody tapping there. With these words, I opened the door, but there was nothing except deep darkness. I peered deep into the darkness, stood along, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming, conjuring visions that no mortal had done before. But there remained unbroken silence, grim stillness that gave absolutely no sign of movement. The only word that I heard whispered mysteriously in the darkness was the name of Lenore. I also whispered the word Lenore and heard the same word gently echoed in the atmosphere. It was this and nothing more that came from the world of darkness. Thereupon I turned back into my chamber, my soul still burning within, but soon thereafter I heard the tapping sound more loudly and distinctly than before. Then I said to myself, surely, there is somebody tapping at the window. Let me see who it is. Let me explore this mystery. Let my heart be composed for a moment, and let me explore this mystery. Perhaps it is the wind and nothing more. Then I opened the shutter of my window, when, flirting and fluttering there, flew in a large raven of the ancient times. Without hesitating or hallowing me in the least, without stopping even for a minute, he entered. With the impressive face of a lord or lady, he came in straight and perched upon the statue of the Greek goddess of wisdom, just above my chamber door. He came and sat there and did nothing more. This blackbird stirred all my fancy to a faint smiling, for he bore an amazingly stern and dignified mien of gravity. I said to him in a light vein, though you have no crest on your head, nor no beard, you do not seem to be cowardly or mad. You are a horrid, grim, and ancient raven, who came here wandering from some dark, ominous land. Tell me, by what majestic name they call you in the dark kingdom of Pluto in the Hades? And prompt came the reply from the raven, nevermore, that which has no existence. I was amazed to hear this ugly, ominous bird talking so plainly, though in his answer there seemed to be little meaning or relevance. We would all agree that no living human being has yet seen an ominous beast or bird sitting on a statue in his bedchamber and giving out his name as Nevermore. But this raven, sitting alone on the bust of the statue, spoke only one word, as if he sought to express the whole of his soul only through this one word. He spoke not a word more, nor did he flutter even a feather, until I softly murmured to myself, "My other friends have all gone. Tomorrow morning he will also leave me, as all my hopes have already left me." But the bird promptly replied, "Nevermore." These striking words of the raven ominously broke the grim silence of the night and startled me. However, again I said to myself, doubtless this is the only stock and store of his language. Perhaps he caught this ominous word from his unhappy master, whom misfortune and disaster followed fast, until all his songs and finally all the dirges sung for him carried the burden, "Never, nevermore." But the raven still turned all my fancy into a light spirit, and I turned my wheeled cushioned chair in front of the bird, sitting on the bust above the door. Then, sinking into my velvet chair, I started weaving fancy into fancy, reflecting what this ugly, ominous, grim, uncouth, ghastly, and awful ancient bird meant by saying nevermore. Thus I sat guessing and reflecting, but without speaking a word to the bird. Still, the fiery eyes of the bird seemed to penetrate deep into my bosom. I reclined my head at ease upon the velvety back of the chair on which the light of my lamp was falling, and I mused to myself that my late beloved Lenore will never recline her head upon it, oh, nevermore. Then I thought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, perhaps swinging from the feathers of an angel whose footsteps seemed to fall gently on the soft grass outside my door. Whereupon I cried to myself, "O wretch, see how the merciful God has sent to you these angels to provide you relief and forgetfulness from the painful memory of Lenore. Forget your Lenore for a while." But prompt came the reply from the raven, "Nevermore." And I said, "Prophet of doom, agent of evil, whether bird or devil, a prophet you are nevertheless. Whether you have been sent by Satan, or whether thrown to this shore by some tempest, desolate yet firm and bold, having alighted on the lonely shore of this enchanted land, of this haunted house, tell me truly, I implore, whether all is calm and quiet in Gilead. Oh, tell me truly, I implore." And prompt came the reply from the raven, "Nevermore." And I said again, "Prophet of doom, agent of evil, whether bird or devil, a prophet you are nevertheless. I charge you in the name of heaven that covers us both from above, in the name of God, whom we both adore and worship, tell my soul, my sorrow-laden soul, whether in the distant Eden it will ever be able to clasp a holy maiden whom the angels call Lenore, that rare and radiant maiden named Lenore." And quick replied the bird, "Nevermore." Started up, I shrieked back, "Let that word of yours be then a signal of our parting. Whatever you are, a bird or devil, get out from here. Go back into the tempest, or to the dark world of Pluto in the lower regions whence you have come. Leave not a trace of your black feathers as a memory of the damned lie you have spoken from your soul. Leave me alone in this unbroken stillness. Leave the bust of the statue above my door. Take away your beak that has pinched my heart, and take away your ugly self from my door." And prompt came the reply from the raven, "Nevermore." And the raven is still sitting, never flitting, sitting still on the pale bust just above my chamber door. His eyes are still gleaming with a demon's fire, burning and dreaming, and the lamp light falling from above throws its shadow on the floor. And my soul can never lift itself from the shadow floating on the floor. Never, oh, nevermore. So this was the poem by Edgar Allan Poe, The Raven, and its paraphrase. I hope it proves to be of help to each one of you. Please mention your questions and observations in the comment section below. Please do like, share and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon for latest update. Thank you for your valuable time. Here's wishing you a great day ahead.